Hello. Hi, Victoria.
So I'm on day 13 of Cura Romana, and rather than everyone get completely bored with me talking about it on my own, I'm just trying to talk to some other people and get a few different perspectives on it. So please share, what's your experience of Cura Romana?
I've got a confession, which is I'm drinking your tea. So right. I will.
So first,
I'll tell you about it, but
swap.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry, it's gone down a bit.
Cheers.
Cheers. This is nice.
Yeah, great.
Ladies that drink herbal tea.
Yes.
So my experience. Well, I mean, it's massive, so I might have to break that down a bit. I did it, I think was it 2 years ago? I'm trying to remember now. I think I first did it 2 years ago.
You were asking me about it because you were in quite a bad way.
I was in a bad way.
I kept kind of mentioning it.
Subtly.
Yeah.
You were trying to do it so that I didn't think you were saying, you're a bit fat. But you were doing it, you were coming at it from the true angle, which is like, you're not well actually, and I wasn't well.
Because your weight was really affecting all the different systems in your body.
Exactly. So I came to see Victoria about my body, essentially, because I was having like various aches and weird aches as well. It felt almost like arthritic kind of pain, and I knew that you knew some stuff about perimenopause and hormones and food, so I went thinking I'm having a food reaction or something. I had Bisto. And I got really, really ill off Bisto. That was what it was. It was the trigger for me feeling really ill.
Okay, and so we were looking at systematic kinesiology and potentially what you were reacting to badly, and the way that what we eat, in the end, just has such a knock-on effect. On everything.
Absolutely. And I was like, can you give me some supplements, or what supplements should I take? And you were like, well, actually, you might want to take a more intense approach to it, which was right. So I think the first thing to say about the process which was really interesting and is something to think about, was my level of resistance to doing it.
Yeah.
Because it was massive. I was so resistant, and I went through this whole kind of horrible head spin about someone's trying to sell me something. So that was one of the things that came up for me, like someone's trying to market to me and they don't really know what's going on, and I'm sort of being put in this position. So I had that, and that just goes to show, because I already know you, I've referred clients to you before, you're a trusted person in my life. So for me to be thinking on that level shows that it was actually about resistance, not about the thing itself. So I was very aware of that.
I think what I'd like to say there is, obviously I'm a body worker, I do all the clinical massage, and I work with systematic kinesiology, but there's a big difference between someone coming and receiving what I do in that hour and me going, actually, I think you need to commit to a whole big program, which isn't about me fixing you. It's about you doing the work.
Absolutely. So that's completely right. So now I look back on it, and I did do it, by the way, so I got there in the end. But now I look back on it, my resistance was actually all about me being really scared to commit to something that, well, for a bunch of reasons. So scared of committing to something that might be hard. So that's fear of failure. Scared of committing to something that would make me feel better. Because because if you think about it, how did I get into the position where I wasn't feeling great? Eating, in my opinion, and I'm a coach, so I've done a lot of work on myself, and I understand mindset. Hello, great coach. Had a problem. Much better since Cura Romana. It's a resistance to feeling better, because actually the food you're eating is a layer of protection. There was something in the way that I was eating, and I'm not just talking about the stuff, the bad processed stuff. I'm talking about the amount I was eating.
The need to pick
the
up,
need
the
to
need
eat
for the oral kind of fixation,
and
rather than feeling.
And I know what that is about now as well. I can share. It is a bit vulnerable, but it's true. So growing up, I was told on quite a number of occasions that I was ruining my mother's life, and that she wished I'd never been born.
Oh my God!
So that's quite big. But let me just qualify that. So what it's shown me is that I mean, I know that's not true, and I'm a mum, so I know how hard it is to be a mum. Oh my God, especially if you're a single mum with 3 kids and you've had a really abusive, terrible childhood yourself. Of course, some of that's going to spill over. So this isn't about mummy bashing at all, but what I'm saying is that the part of me that believed that it should have died, that it should be dead, was making me eat. And I explored it through hypnotherapy, and I understood the voice in my head that said, I'm trying to kill you. Yeah. Because you shouldn't be alive. So anyway, I understand my eating voice now, which is really powerful for me. Yeah. Because I know now when it gets triggered what that's really about.
And can I just share something here, because it is so important, because people think Cure Romana is all about weight loss, but what you're hitting on that is so important to me is that actually when you take away all that normal habitual eating, you actually start to get in touch with what's really going on.
Oh my God.
So it's not actually about weight loss.
It's about weight. Well, I tell you what it is for me. It's about weight gain. It's about, where is this weight gain coming from? Yeah. What can I learn about the weight gain? Not how much weight can I lose. Yes. It's about what is this weight gain about, and exploring it. Yeah. And I definitely did. So if it's all right. So that was my fear came up. I'm like, I don't want to do it. Oh, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of finding out why I was eating, fear of that voice, because I don't want to hear that voice, of course. So fear. So I was super resistant for a while. And then I'm really lucky. I had a supportive partner who just said, look, you've just got to actually do it, because you're not going to know until you do it. Because I'd done all of that really annoying stuff, like Googled it for like hours, going, is it a scam? Is it going to damage me? Is it unhealthy? Because people do. Because we ask those questions from a place of, you could say it's from a place of being sensible, and I do agree with being sensible. Like if you're going to hire a doctor, if you're going to hire somebody but then there's no qualification there, you're going to question it. So you need something. Absolutely. But actually you also have to have a degree of faith in the world. And it was just like, this thing, it's not possible for it to kill you. That would be the worst outcome, right? If it's not going to kill me, I'm going to try it. So I tried it. And it was a big deal to do it. And so if I just talk about, because I've done it 2 and a bit times. So I've done it twice. In its fullest form, and then I did a 3rd little time as well.
Because I didn't take you through it kind of one-to-one, but I was there in the background the whole time.
I did,
and I remember you having a wobble the first week.
I had one wobble.
Contacting me, going, I don't know
I had
what's
one
going
wobble.
on, and I was like, Freya, calm down. Have you done this?
Have you actually done what you're supposed to do? It was a fair question, and I hadn't. So there you go. Okay. So I did it on my own, and I did it of my own volition, and I was a dedicated student. So I read the book, and because I'm a hypnotherapist, I could see how it was working on my mind in terms of suggestion and information, as well as nutrition, which was brilliant. So it's educational and supportive. And I photocopied the book because I didn't want to pay for the online plan. Naughty me. So I photocopied the book, and I cut out the relevant sections, and I created, and I've got it upstairs, a little notebook I stuck in the printed bits, so I could just have the menu, the rules, the what if this happens, and some reminders for me about why I was doing it. And that was it. That was my journal and my tracking book. So I made it myself. So it was very kind of homegrown. And the first time I did it, one of the biggest, most shocking things for me, and this far outweighs the fact that I lost 1.5 stone, and literally felt the most energised I've felt since I was probably 5 years old. Right. Which is not to be underestimated. Because that's massive.
That's why I'm here doing this. That's why I'm kind of putting myself out there, because I know.
I wouldn't talk about it if it was rubbish, because genuinely my biggest thing is authenticity. I have no interest in blagging anybody or anything. So I'm just sharing my own experience. Other people, but this is what happened for me. So I lost 1.5 stone both times I did it, and then I lost another 0.5 stone when I did a little mini version for myself more recently. But it wasn't about the weight loss, and it wasn't even about the energy gain, which was a massively amazing experience in itself. It was about the past for me and clearing some of this stuff out. And do you know what happened is I began to realise the extent of the conditioning that had gone on into my brain and my being over the years, not just from my mum, but from society around food.
Yeah.
You have to eat all of your dinner, or what, you know, you have to do this, you have to do that. If you go, you know, it's like if you go out without a hat on, you'll get a cold. It's all that kind of stuff, but it was all food related. I started, bubbling up in me came all of these arguments in my head about why I should be eating more than I was eating.
Yeah.
And why, you know, basically, I started to think that I was going to die. Yeah,
While you're on Romana?
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is all in my head, of course, because I'm here and I'm really
Very
hot.
well.
I'm like so hot. It's ridiculous. So it's got nothing to do with the truth, by the way. But this was my head. Like, this is my bonkers journey.
Yeah.
But I had my feast days. I was fine on them. As you can imagine, I was like, yeah, fine. Got to about day 2 and 3 where I started feeling a bit fluey because the sugar was leaving me, I think. And I started feeling a bit dodge. Got to day 3 and 4, and a few things happened. One, I realised I was barely breathing because I was so fearful about what might be happening to my body.
Okay.
So I wasn't breathing enough.
Yeah.
And I started to feel a bit dizzy, fine, and I wasn't resting enough, by the way, as well. But I actually started to have these thoughts enter my head, like, you are going to die. If you don't eat right now, you're going to die.
Wow.
Now that's a very strong voice, and it's obviously rubbish because, like I say, I'm here and I've you know, you can live without food for days and not die. So it was never going to happen. But this is society and my mum, and actually I believe in epigenetics and the fact that we inherit stuff. Yeah. My mum was my mum's father was Polish refugee in World War II.
Okay.
My mum was neglected and abused, but main neglect, like they had no food, they had no money. She used to eat dog biscuits because there wasn't any food. Like it was pretty intense. So I'm carrying what happened to my mum. I'm from that time, what happened to her parents, and I'm also carrying society. And probably my nan, who, you know, I can't remember the words now, but would have said, you know, you've got to eat all of your dinner because there might not be anyone, you know, all that scarcity mindset.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I could not believe, I had one part of me going, you're going to die if you don't eat, and I couldn't believe the impact that emotional pull was having on me. And I remember just saying to Georgia, oh my God, I feel like I'm going to die if I carry on. Am I safe? Am I safe? You know, will I be okay? And she was like, look, this is your mind. This is da-da-da, and kind of supported me through it. But of course it was only my mind, but how intense is that? Was really intense. Now I don't want to put people off because it's really not that dark for most people, I'm sure. Well, it might be, but it was dark for me.
I'm on day 13 at the moment, and I'm probably doing a bit too much on this track. And basically, so I've got a voice in my head going, oh, you're going to get really ill. Right. You're going to get really ill, or you're going to this. And you know, I've had a lot of illness in my family and everything. So you're always kind of, you've got these voices in your head telling you basically what you're doing is not okay. Yeah.
And you know what? On one level, you got to thank them. So what I realised over the course of my coaching, hypnotherapy, therapeutic understanding of the world is, they're your protectors, right? They're popping up, they're doing the best they can do for you, but they don't have the bigger picture. They are focused on this exact moment in time, and what they don't realise is that where you're tired in this moment, you'll feel energised. Absolutely. The next moment or the next day.
And of course those voices love jumping onto the 500 calorie.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, you shouldn't be doing that. You know, and you have to take that voice back to the book to look at the science, to look at that it's all of the fat being released in your body is actually giving you more than you probably get when you're eating normally anyway. So
look, we are, I mean, you know more, I'm sure, much more about this than me, being a body worker, as you know, whatever you term it, but I call you a body worker to my clients. In my head, that's what I call you. we are designed, we're like an engine. We're designed to process a certain amount of fuel and move a certain amount and have a certain amount of water or whatever. And it makes sense that if any of that is out of balance, then not everything is going to work right.
Absolutely.
And we live in such a society in a time of consumption that we've lost all sense of what is natural for us. Now, I'm not saying that what's natural is only 500 calories and blah blah.
Which isn't natural.
No,
we're not saying
that. We're not saying that.
You would only ever do that if you were on a very specific program like this.
And it's only for 24 days.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is that I'd lost touch with my thirst mechanism.
Yeah.
My hunger mechanism. I didn't know when I was hungry or not. And I learned through the process that actually what I understood to be hunger, that feeling that I understood to be hunger, was often I was tired or I was thirsty.
Yeah.
I mean, we are so out of touch with how our body naturally feels and senses what's going on.
Because I think that's what I said to you when you contacted me and you were having a little panic, and I was saying, "Are you resting?" And exactly, and it's, are you tired, or maybe you do need to eat something. But what I've also come across a lot is that it's the difference between hunger and cravings.
Yes,
isn't it? And they are two very, very different things.
I mean, genuine hunger is very rare in my experience. And actually, when I'm eating really well outside of Cura, when I'm eating, I'm not eating stuff that I'm craving, which is usually stuff that's really bad for me, like potatoes, which is like, whoa, can't touch them. How annoying!
And let's just say, so after the 500 calorie a day bit, which gets a lot of attention, but actually isn't the make or break bit.
That's not the main bit.
It's consolidation, and just because I'm a systematic kinesiologist, so I test foods for people and what works. Consolidation is when you got to do that for yourself, didn't you?
Correct. Systematic is the word, because the focus and the freak out is about the 24 days, but that's not the bit. So that 24 days literally just gets you into a position where you're able to test your foods.
Exactly, because
That's
clean.
what it does. You're clean.
Yeah.
It cleans you so you're able to test. And so I had this incredible emotional, mental journey in the 24 days, and it did a lot for me. So I'm not saying that that's not important. It's massively emotionally important, that piece. And then the following 6 weeks is where you really learn what the hell your body knows.
Absolutely.
Because this is what I'm saying about, you learn on the 24 days the difference between thirst, hunger and tiredness.
And cravings.
And cravings, yes, absolutely. And then in the following 6 weeks you learn about how your body tells you that it doesn't like something. And I realised that before doing Cura, my body was so confused because I was putting so much into it, and it was all different food types. I mean, my body matched my brain. It was a fog. How the hell could I have known what I was reacting to with that much going on?
Absolutely.
Did the 24 days, got myself clean, felt incredible. I felt like the highest note of the violin being played, like this musical, magical, moment.
And it's like you've gone up the hill and you're at the top.
Yeah, and I'm like, the world is my oyster. I'm all powerful. And I felt amazing. And I didn't actually even want to reintroduce foods, I've got to say. I didn't mind putting my portions up a little bit. I often didn't want to, but I did because I know it's important.
And got the fats in.
Yeah, got the fats in. The first scrambled eggs that I had with butter was my top. Can I just give a tip? Yeah. Truffle salt. When you start to get back into eggs and truffle salt. Anyway, but the 6 weeks is where I could actually. So I've got to tell you really quickly about my experiences on consolidation, if I may.
Yes, that's what I want. Yeah. Because the interview I did earlier this week, Rebecca hadn't done consolidation so much. And if you read the book, so just to say, Cura Humana is based on Dr. Simeon's his thing. That was about the 500 calories a day. But then a lot of people would lose what they'd gained because he never had a consolidation process. And Leslie Kenton, the amazing thing that she did, and why I went off to New Zealand and met her son, she created consolidation. So it's all well and good, kind of cleaning your body. But then
but
what?
then what do you do
You've
with
got
it?
your life. You've got to come back down that mountain to
Mm-hmm.
reality. And how do you maintain?
How do you navigate reality after that? Yeah.
Some of that clarity, some of that energy. Okay, go for it. How did you do it?
Yeah, totally. Well, I think I may have said this to you before, but one thing, if anyone's out there doing it or is approaching consolidation, one thing I was concerned about is that's a lot of different things to test in 6 weeks. If you look at the timing, like one thing every couple of days, you couldn't get through the list. So I focused on the things I was most likely to want to eat.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. Was at first I was like, how am I going to test it? And I was like, okay, prioritise. What things do you like the most out of these groups, and then test them. I had 2 standout experiences on consolidation where I had a food reaction.
Right.
I mean, and they were so standout. But I'll tell you the biggest one, and I cannot believe it, was clotted cream.
Right.
So I had fruit and clotted cream.
Okay.
Thinking, oh, this is like pretty clean, really.
Yeah.
Fine, it's dairy,
And
but
it's good fat.
and I hadn't reacted to dairy, you see,
Yeah.
and like milk and stuff
Not
like that.
margarine or something.
I would never eat margarine.
No.
What?
Exactly.
Can't deal with that.
Yeah.
But I love butter. So and I don't react to butter.
No.
So I'm like, well, I don't react to butter. It's very unlikely I react to clotted cream. Anyway, I had clotted cream. I plunged into I don't want to use the word in a flippant way. I felt like I plunged into a depression for 2 days.
Yeah. Okay.
I was really, really low.
Okay.
And I felt like I could not see my way out of this emotional state at all. And I got aches in all of my joints and flu-like symptoms. So I got my fingers were aching in the joints, my elbows, my knees, my back was aching, my ankles. I basically felt like I must be like 85 trying to get out of bed. I felt so ill.
And what a shock after having felt
after
so
feeling
light.
incredible. It was like, well, if there is ever to be a clear message about something that doesn't agree with me, this is it. Because at first I was like, I'm coming down with something. I'm ill. Like I've caught a bug. Or how do I know it wasn't a bug? Because after 2 days, it completely went, and I felt amazing again. And I was like, oh my God, I can't. It's hard to reconcile. It's hard to believe when you have an intense experience like that, that it's real. And then I started thinking, was that real? Like, did I just have a 48-hour bug?
I completely understand, because I'm celiac, and I know when I eat gluten, it's like I go into a mini nervous breakdown, you know, and it is insane how something you eat can affect what you think, what you feel. So that was what I do want to say is, obviously with consolidation over 6 weeks, you're bringing in different food groups each week. And you start with the very basic ones. You don't get to really sugar and things like that until week 5 or 6, bread and sugar. But so this was still quite on, because we do bring dairy in fairly soon, don't we? So, so you at that point, that was a good tick. Or Fliss, how much did you have that kind of food before in your diet?
Well, clotted cream, not really that much. And interestingly, I've never really been into ice cream. I think cream is just clearly a thing for me. But I've had it on holidays and stuff like that. So, did you say casein? So I call it casein. But it's a milk. Is it a milk protein?
Yeah.
Right. So here's the link. When I came to see you, I'd had. Do you remember I said I'd had Bisto?
Yeah.
It's got casein in it.
Okay.
Or casein.
So there we go.
You think.
So it's that protein.
It's that protein, and it's all over the place.
Yeah,
milk protein. Because I was like, when I had the Bisto and I reacted, so it's going to be a bit graphic now, but I was burping. I had so much wind.
Yeah.
I was burping to the depths of my soul. It was coming out. I was like, where's this coming from? My stomach was out here. It was like a rock hard, like a rock. I felt ill.
Yeah.
And I was like, why would you have milk protein in a beef gravy? Like, I didn't get it. And of course, it's because it's processed, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the thing then, right?
And it's very similar to gluten. So Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride writes a brilliant book. It's called The Gut and Psychology Syndrome.
Yes.
And it's like my Bible.
Right.
And she actually puts I call it casein.
I always call it casein.
Casein.
Anyway, whatever.
You want to call it. She puts that and gluten in the same box, and basically if you react to gluten, you're going to react to casein. And obviously we won't go into them now, but you've got other health challenges, so your body's going to be more sensitive, and it is everywhere, and it is messing people. People just don't know this.
Well, here's the thing, exactly. So there I was, totally clean, and I had a massive experience like that, and I saw the level of harm that could be done to me through something I put in my mouth that I thought was innocent, right?
Yes.
But then rewind that, like, because this is what I did in my head. I rewound that and thought, at the time before I did Cura, when I was putting not just that in my body, but numbers, processed sugar, bread, like the whole shebang. Alcohol. Not a lot, but a bit rare, to be honest, quite rare for me, but still, stuff all that in, and then try and work out what the issue is.
Yeah.
And try and imagine you reacted to even one, but maybe 2 or 3 of those things at the same time.
Absolutely.
How can you function from a place of who you really are? Like, this is, because obviously being a coach, hypnotherapist, whatever, but especially the coaching side of things, the whole point for me of life is living a rich life. Yeah. It's expressing yourself, it's feeling alive. It's actually feeling alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
People go living your best life. It is living your best life, but actually it's feeling alive.
Vital.
And there's vitality.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's not, to me, it's not about happiness. Happiness is a fleeting emotion. Joy is deep, and that's a bit more stable, but vitality is the doorway to those things, right? And vitality is about the fullest expression of your mind, your body, and your soul, the holy triad, right?
Yeah.
You can look after your mind and your soul, but if you're not looking after your body, you're screwed. Same, take out any one of those 3, you're screwed. I think, not fully, but enough to not live fully. I'm here, I've got one life. Why would I not choose to make the very most of those 3 things? And Cura has given me a way to understand my body enough
to clean up,
but to learn and to learn enough about my body to be able to hear it, what it's saying to me, to be able to get vital. Because I did things before, like going to the gym, for example, and doing hardcore sessions.
And you were hurting yourself.
It was pain.
And turning up in my clinic.
I was.
Because you were damaging yourself, and I was
damaging myself.
Freya.
Yeah, wrong way round, love.
Freya, no.
I was really like, I feel like at the time I was like, yes, I'm getting strong.
Yeah.
There's a lot of focus on strength and fitness. But the reality is, the bottom line is, you can do boot camp till the cows come home. But if you are not putting the right things, and it's not even about healthy food, because for some people eating clotted cream will be healthy because they won't react.
And that's why consolidation is there, because if there was a rule book that worked for every person, then we'd just give them that.
Precisely.
But everyone's body is different, so you've got to go in, do the work. Okay, I'm going to try this. How's my body responding to that?
What's healthy for me might be different to what's healthy for you.
And
There'll be some obvious things like sugar and numbers that aren't healthy for anyone. And there'll be obvious things like probably avocados that are good for everyone, whether you like them or not. But we're all different. We've got that footprint. So Cura has given me a way to be able to see my footprint enough, to be able to give myself this incredible experience of vitality. And now, if I'm not on the Cura wagon, I know very quickly, and I feel it. And then I'm in control of deciding whether I get back on the wagon. And if I don't, for me as a coach, my question is, why are you not getting back on the wagon? What is it that you're trying to avoid, numb, punish yourself with? Where's this bubble of stuff come from? And then I'm working on it emotionally through my own work, and I'm back on the wagon.
And I think you and I, we have that in common, because our vocation almost requires us to walk our talk.
We have to role model.
I can't say anything to anyone if I'm not doing it myself.
Totally.
And I'd been on holiday and all kinds of things recently. I'd fallen off the wagon, and I give myself permission to. I know after this in the future I will a little bit at different times, and I noticed hot flushes coming back and things like that. With menopausal stuff, so we know we're going to get back, because we couldn't do our jobs if we didn't.
No,
let's face it.
And no, absolutely. And what's brilliant is, it's like, to get back on the wagon, I don't even have to do all of Cura. I simply have to cut out potatoes and flour and sugar. I just need to cut out particular things that I know
you
aren't good.
In consolidation.
It's just the same information. So I don't have to go back into it. My diet has changed. I've got a level of awareness where my actual overall diet has changed. And occasionally I'll have a cake, or I'll do this or that because I want to, or I'm being social, or I'm like, oh my God, why life without chips, and I'll do it.
And when you're out with your kids.
And I'm like, okay, well, I've got a choice here. I can either beat myself to a pulp going, you're fat and disgusting and unhealthy and you hate yourself and you're doing this terrible... No, but that's the bad voice. Or I can go, I'm an adult and today I have chosen to experience this thing in my mouth that feels really good, and tomorrow I will choose whether I want to do that, or if I don't want to do that, I know exactly how to change the way my body feels, and that is power. That is powerful choice. Sure.
But what I would say, and this has always intrigued me with gluten intolerance, with being celiac, is once you've put that thing in your mouth, if it's not that good for you, just like any drug or anything, that's when the cravings kick in, and that's where you need to know the difference between craving and hunger.
And I know the difference because having done it, but also because I understand the nature of cravings now, that if I crave something the next day, that's what it is. It's a craving because I had it the day before. It doesn't mean I have to do it. Absolutely,
you have a choice. Hi Gina, I think you've been watching for quite a while, so just wanted to say hello. Hello. If you're still there. I mean, the cravings are, I think, the things that pull people off the wagon the most easily. Not being prepared, not being in environments that support eating well. There are a lot of different things, and I mean, we've both got kids and everything. There are so many different things. So you'd think once you know exactly what's good for you that you would only do that. But life happens, doesn't it?
Look, life happens, and like I say, I'm not interested in beating myself up using food.
And either. You are, I'm sitting
gorgeous.
Here. Yeah, you are gorgeous, and it's amazing. I love that in my work I do myself out of a job. When I've done myself out of a job, in terms of people are so well, they kind of don't need to come in any way.
Sort of, except you do very good massage. So just for pleasure, I'd come back. It's not about that, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's like. You know it now.
I know how to look after myself.
Anything,
yes.
And you've got the blueprint for feeling healthy now, for not having to go and push yourself into the ground at the gym. Now you can go to the gym for fun. Yeah, you don't have to go. To the gym.
I wouldn't go to the gym for fun. I've never been, but I know what you mean. I exercise
for fun.
I enjoy moving.
Yeah, which is different to telling yourself you've got to do this, you've got to do that because you need to lose weight. Whereas actually, so much of the time, this is the big mistake, that exercise of itself will not lose your weight. It is the food that's going into you.
Yeah. Absolutely. It is. You see, to me, like, movement is a natural thing, and we move around all of the time, and we eat all of the time. But of all of the things, what you put into your body in terms of health and well-being, I think, has just got to have the biggest impact because it's got the biggest potential. Like, you can't go more than 1 hour hardcore at the gym a day without literally like breaking a leg or something. Whereas with food, you can eat terrible food all day and all night, every day. Do you know what I'm saying? So you can do yourself so much more damage with food than you could with anything else. And that's the bottom line. It's going to have, for me, the food thing had the biggest impact emotionally and physically of everything. And then exercise, like you say, it's not really exercise, it's just moving your body in a way that feels good to you. And that might be walking or whatever. But the point is that the way to damage yourself, if you're going to do it, you do it with food. There's the odd gym bunny who's damaging themselves, I'm not denying that, but really most of us will damage with food.
For sure.
Yeah.
And, one of the really interesting things with Cura Romana is that you get to test in all the foods. So you might be eating a food that you think is very healthy, but that actually for your body you react to it, and actually it's not so good. Cashew nuts. When I went and spoke to Aaron Kenton, and all the videos are coming out soon, which is really exciting. He was explaining how cashew nuts, they're not nuts, and actually when he takes people through consolidation, loads of people are actually, those are something people react really badly to, and they wouldn't know. They think they're just eating cashew nuts.
They're healthy.
Yeah, they wouldn't think if the next day they're feeling rubbish, it's because they've eaten a cashew nut or something. Yeah. Because I was curious when I asked him, you know, what in your experience are things that really trigger, and of course dairy and wheat, they're all the obvious, but you may well be eating something that has a really adverse effect and not know it. And consolidations when you get to find that
totally
out.
Well, look, peanuts is a good example.
Yeah,
I don't react at all, thank God, to peanuts, because I bloody love peanut butter. But some people are so allergic it could kill them.
Did you test it in?
Yeah.
With consolidation, and it was good.
Yeah, it was
You're
good
on peanut butter.
Yeah,
That's great.
and I found some peanut butter that doesn't have any sugar in it at all, and it's like the purest driven snow of peanut butter in the world from New Zealand, and the New Zealand rugby team use it. So if you haven't tried it, anyway, I can't remember the name now, but I'll tell you.
All right, so I'm basically looking to put a group together in probably about halfway through October, because I'm going to see whether we're doing all of this, if anyone's interested in doing the program with me. You'll be in the group, other people who've been there, so people will be around to share their experiences, people who've done it, so there'll be hopefully some newbies, but also, I mean, I don't think you'll need to be doing it, but anyone I know who's done it can be there as a support to other people, basically, because it will all be on Facebook and everything. So is there anything else you can think of to say about the programme before we finish off, which we should do very soon?
I mean, when I did it the first time, I immediately wanted to start again. Do it immediately again, back to back. So I'm sure you're going to have an FAQ section or something. So one thing is, I reckon you're going to get a lot of people saying, "Can I just do it again straight away?"
Yeah, which you can't.
But I did want to. So I think I'm saying that because it's very tempting. Because you think, after you've done that, you feel like you could do anything. Yeah. I'm not kidding, you just, don't you? You just feel, the first time you feel so amazing. And what's interesting is how it goes the second time. Because the second time is a different experience as well. Completely. So my sister's done it twice based on... She? Yeah, she's now done it twice based on me sharing my... And, you know, at first she was like, oh my God, you've lost a lot of weight. How did you do it? She's really focused on the weight thing.
I met her in the first week when you were doing it, in your first week of the first time, didn't I? Yeah. Okay.
So she saw my transformation and realised that she could do it too. And she was like, well, but I'm a single mum and I've got 2 teenage kids and it's going to be really hard, and that you've got support, I haven't, all of this stuff, which I completely understand. She did it. And she did it, you know, I did very little, you know, she texted me occasional time and said, did you ever use, like, garlic flakes or something like that, you know, like the odd random question, and then I just ping her back. But she did it. She didn't have anyone prepping anything. She did it on her own with her teenagers. She was working full time, so it can be done. It can be done, but it's about the dedication, it's about the commitment to yourself. And some people do not feel ready to do that, or there's so much fear that they're not ready. So if I could say anything to anybody or do anything, it would be to support them through the fear, because it is feel the fear and do it anyway. Absolutely. And if you just do it anyway, you will feel great. And it's not some kind of miracle pill or some kind of snake oil thing or some network marketing thing. It is a genuine experience that I've had as an authentic human being that has given me great vitality. And if you were to ask my partner, my child, my sister, my friends about, you know, how much weight I've lost as an aside, but how I am now versus how I was when I first did it, they would tell you it is a world of difference. I feel like I've actually grown up. Sounds a bit mad, but I feel like...
And you are, you know, you are really different with it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. But for me, I didn't want to do it on my own the first time.
Yeah,
so I went online and I did it with Leslie Kenton. I mean, I can't believe that she died a few months after I did it with her. Yeah. But so I was very fortunate, and she'd leave me recorded messages every 2 or 3 days, and you know, so I was filling information in. And for me to do it with someone guiding me the first time, and I have done it with some of my clients to guide them the first time, and then I think after that, you know, you were very dedicated, and I mean, you were on it.
I was just like, right, if I'm going to do this, I'm just going to do it.
And also, you'd know me.
You were a trusted source.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
like I said, even that, I was still like, why should I do this? But totally, I was.
Well, I'm really pleased because obviously, as a client of mine, I'm very cautious to recommend anything to anyone because you know, I am putting my reputation on the line.
Yeah, no, I completely.
You know, but I've never in all of my career promoted any kind of weight loss, and I am promoting this not because it's weight loss, as you say, it is about why did you gain it. And obviously sometimes there are physiological reasons if people have had operations or all kinds of things, you know, that's a whole other
I'm happy to say I've got an underactive thyroid, which is a health condition in itself, which can cause weight gain and lethargy and all kinds of side effects. And although I haven't had my thyroid levels tested, which I really want to actually, because it didn't even occur to me, I don't know why, to get it to see the difference. But I know when I'm underactive and when I'm not, and I haven't had any underactive feelings since I did my first round of Cura.
Isn't that incredible?
And that was you know, I'm still taking the medication and everything, but I understand the quality of my own energy really well because of my thyroid condition.
And that is the hormonal reset.
Oh, sorry, can I just tell you about that?
Yeah.
Oh, so quickly. I've always, this is really personal now. So I won't go into, I don't have to be graphic. I've always had really irregular periods, always. Even after childbirth, everyone's like, have a baby, your periods will be fine. They suddenly got really heavy and nightmarish and all over the place. Really irregular. I did Cura, my periods were clockwork. Yeah. If I came off the wagon, haywire again. Okay. Got back on my right eating pattern, Cura. Recently, I haven't done Cura, but I'm bang on my eating pattern. Periods are clockwork again. It is, and I was like, are you serious that my hormones are being affected by my food? 1,000 million billion %. And that was unbelievable. So perimenopausal, because I've got a lot of friends who are either in the middle of the menopause or perimenopausal, who have had arthritic symptoms and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, thinking it's unavoidable. And then there are you, because you were doing it, weren't you, when you were perimenopausal and explaining.
Still am. And if I fall off the wagon, I'm feeling it. I've been feeling it through this process as well, because I've had a really challenging 6 months. Yeah. So my priorities changed during that period of time. And so now I'm really feeling, so I'm on day 13 at the moment, and it's quite rough actually, because all of that resetting is going on through this period. I think you know, you have to get to the end of the 24 days for the reset to have happened.
Definitely.
But because it's you need a reset, and that's what it does. I'm so thrilled.
Thank you so much.
And you know, I'm going to try and share different people's experiences. Not everyone, I have to say, has had such a brilliant experience as you, but usually you can always look and see why it is. You know, there will always be something somewhere in the picture where it's like, oh, okay, well, that was going on and that wasn't resolved at the time, or you know, just different things for different people. But generally, I'm running with this because I just know that I haven't seen anything else like it, and at the end of the day, it's bringing our body back to a point where it stops having to process all of the stuff.
Give yourself a break. Not a Kit Kat. Not a Kit Kat. Maybe that's your branding. Give yourself a break. Not a Kit Kat.
Not a Kit Kat.
Yeah. Completely. I loved it, and I'm really grateful. I mean, I love knowing you anyway, and it's like I say, I don't like marketing-y stuff. I hate I can cure you, all that rubbish. I hate it. And I'm a coach, and there's a lot of coaches who say it as well, and I absolutely hate that approach. It is all about the individual, and it meant a lot for me to find this through somebody who I know to have a huge amount of integrity and who is very trusted. Well, no, but you're a very trusted person. We've had a lot of conversations before. I did Cura about loads of stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've experienced your body work. We've talked through some things coaching wise, and I've referred clients to you, and you're you know, you're a trusted person. You're not some kind of woo-woo kind of preacher. You are a trusted, legitimate force for good, which is amazing. So I wouldn't have done it if you hadn't said anything about it, if you hadn't just offered it, which you didn't push, you just offered it, and I took it, and it was an amazing gift.
And you know, I will just pick up again on, obviously you said you had that reaction in consolidation about the cream, and then the depression. Yeah. And you know, if I am someone that can be trusted and that has integrity, it's because my reason for doing what I do is that I've come from a family with chronic depression. You know, there's been suicides, there's been all kinds of stuff, and I know because when I was as a celiac, how what I put in my mouth determines every single thing I think and feel, and that's why I'm doing this basically, because you know it's like my vocation to get that stuff out there.
And you understand all of the facets of how someone could come to feel that way, and food is the big one, which is the overlooked one. It's all like, oh, you know, we could look at history, and we can look at the past, and we can look at drugs, and we can look at all of this kind of different stuff, but what's the one thing you do every day is what you put in your mouth. Absolutely. And nobody goes, oh, maybe it's what I'm putting in my mouth that's causing me to feel, because it's so counterintuitive to the human mind. But you know,
I know,
of course you know,
as a celiac, and I know when I eat gluten, it's not just depression. No. When I eat gluten, I understand how people kill themselves.
I know.
I
get
understand
it. I get it. Like I said depression, but I actually couldn't see me ever coming out of that emotional state.
Exactly.
I haven't got it. I wish I'd brought it to show you. I drew a picture. When I was in those 2 days, I was just sketching, because I didn't journal every day, although I know it's really beneficial for me. Sometimes it just wasn't doable. But I drew a picture, and it was a diagram about like cream going into me, and then what was happening for me, and all of this stuff. And it basically just said it was about dairy being like the best in show kind of Jersey herd. Even the best in show Jersey herd for me was like, you know, a knife in my heart kind of thing, and that's how I felt. I could not see a way to get better. So I hear you, and completely. I've had that experience.
So Cura Romana ultimately is an opportunity for people to get to know themselves, and yes, there's a little bit of, you know, unusual things that you do on the journey, and of course the 500 calories a day just screams at people, but the spray, obviously it's the spray that then triggers everything to happen correctly. But it is a way of, I think, you know, just psychologically really taking your power back. And
I forgot to tell you this, you're going to be like, whoa. So I, as you know, I'm a hypnotherapist, and I've done intensive training, so I haven't gone for a weekend and learned how to do it. I've done 4 modules of 6 days, 9 till 6 every day, super intensive immersive hypnotherapy training, including medical hypnotherapy.
Okay.
And in my medical hypnotherapy module that I did, out came a recommendation of a book by Simeon's. Which was not yet, but it wasn't Cura Romana. It wasn't about that diet. It was actually about the link between disease in the body and your emotional mind. So I know that's been written about loads of times, but I didn't realise that he'd written anything else on that subject. So I've got the copy upstairs. It's really old and gorgeous and interesting.
Oh, how fascinating!
So I'll have to show you that after this. But this guy who recommended it, he is a lecturer at the London School of Medicine.
Okay.
He is the president of the Hypnotherapy Society of America or California or something, but it's basically the biggest body in America. He's 60 odd. He's qualified in everything you can imagine. He's so learned and legit that I come back to this thing of I wouldn't do something personally unless I was a 1,000,000% trusting the quality of the person recommending it. You are one of those people.
Thank you.
He is one of those people, and that link just made it even more obvious for me.
Tick,
tick, tickety tick.
We're on board.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So thank you for taking the time to do this, because you know I just think it's really important for people to hear different people's experiences, and you know I'm on it at the moment, so I'm quite tired actually. I'm midpoint in the food plan, so you know that's where I'm at. So actually trying to get all the information out there at the same time is pretty, you know, it's quite
You're doing it. If you can
I'm
do
doing
it now, you can do it whenever.
I'm giving myself lots of days off, but I'm doing it. And next week, I'll just say now, next week I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live with a friend, Livia, and she's a personal trainer, and so she hasn't done Cura Romana, but there's a lot coming at me about if we lose too much weight and things like that. So we're going to look a little bit at like, okay, so if you need to eat less potentially or eat different things, what are the other things? What is the right exercise to do? Well, you know, without pushing ourselves into the ground and things like that. So I'm really looking forward to doing that with her. All right, so thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll say goodbye. And maybe I'll come back and we'll have another chat. I'd like to talk to you more about your coaching actually, because I know with my work, obviously I can work with people, but very often it's the way they're thinking that is the issue and is keeping stuff stuck in their body. So not around Cura Romana, but around other subjects. I want to do Facebook Lives on. Maybe we can have another chat.
Sure.
Okay.
Anytime.
Cool. All right then.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.